Again, presenting Singles Travel International's informational webinar on our New Zealand and Australia cruise, March 22nd, and our All Aussie Adventure, April 3rd. Let's get started with the introductions of the team. I think you may know me. I'm Tammy. I'm the president of Fun and Adventure.
I'm June Moore. I am the Group Operations Coordinator for Singles Travel International.
I am Elsa. I am a travel concierge and very excited about our upcoming adventure in New Zealand and Australia.
And I'm Heidi, also a concierge for the New Zealand and Australia tour. Extremely excited, stoked for seeing Down Under.
Aloha, Heidi. Heidi's in Hawaii, everybody. Jealous.
Hey, and I'm Jean. I don't have my video stuff going, but this is Jean Lindwell, and I'm doing the land portion of Australia.
Great, Jean. Welcome aboard. So tonight we're going to cover the information about the New Zealand cruise and the All Aussie tour. There's going to be a lot covered tonight. We just want to assure you that the final vacations details and meetup information document, which many of you are familiar with if you've traveled with us in the past, that is our comprehensive sort of documentation letter that you will see 14 days before departure. We load it on the FAQ page, and it's usually listed under the very first question. For example, on the screen you'll see New Zealand and Australia cruise. I'm signed up for the cruise. What else do I need to know? June will replace this text with a link to that document. Now, although we promised to do it 14 days before departure, our goal for this trip, because there are so many of you and there are a lot of moving parts, is to get this ready by February 24th, which is almost a full month in advance. So have patience with us. If it's not exactly that day, we will announce it via a group message on the chat. And we are at the mercy of collecting all of this information from our down under vendors. So it is our goal. They're fully aware of that aggressive goal. And everything that we talk about tonight as well will be either on that document or in the FAQ section of the trip that you're signed up for. So let's talk about that for a couple of minutes. On your screen, everybody has access to see our new help center. I'm not sure that everybody knew about this. We launched it probably 3 or 4 months ago, and we estimate that it's been very helpful, but we thought this would be a good opportunity to show it to you again. Now, I checked in with one of my regular travelers, Judge Bill in Maryland. Hi, Bill, if you're out there. And he gave the authorization to use his account to do the demonstration tonight. If you know Bill, you'll love him. And if you don't know him, by the end of the cruise, you're going to love him. He's a great traveler and always a lot of fun. So I'm logged in as Bill. And what we would like to show you that if you click on the Help button at the top of any page, and you are logged in, all of the frequently asked questions for the trip that you have booked will populate with that one single click. So here you'll see that since Judge Bill is booked on New Zealand and Australia cruise, these are all the frequently asked questions that match up with that trip. If you scroll down a little bit further, as he is also on the All Aussie Adventure, you see the frequently asked questions for that vacation. So how convenient is that? It's right there after just a simple click. After all of the frequently asked questions for the particular cruise or tour, come our general frequently asked questions. We've spent a lot of time putting this together based on your feedback, your input, your comments, your surveys over the years, so it's a very good resource of information about traveling with STI. If you're on the webinar and you have some background noise, would you please hit *6 to mute your phone so we do not interrupt the experience for everybody else? Thanks. *6 to mute. So once you're on the Help Center, if you don't see the answer to the questions that you're interested in or have an additional question, We have a little echo here. You may also hit the send email button. By hitting send email, your name, your email address, and your phone number fall automatically into the request. You type in your request, hit send, and it automatically comes to us at service@singlestravelintl.com, and then we'll answer your questions right away. So if you email us, that's how you do it. If you want to send us a message via phone, just pick up the phone and call us at 877-SOLO-TRIP. If you want to see some frequently asked questions about another trip, they're all listed here in the drop-down. Our icon legend is here. That's a question that comes up a lot. What does this mean? What are these price levels? Here's something that we're not sure everybody knows about, the Solo Superstars. When you click on any given trip, if you see under the Who's Going section a name with a star and a number, that represents somebody who's traveled with us in the past, and those are the number of vacations they've taken since 2008. And of course, if you're finished reading all the do's and don'ts, as you will, and you want to do shopping or see some other information, you may click Show All Trips, and then our complete trip calendar shows up. So that's some of the basics about how to maneuver the site and find out how to answer questions about a given trip, which includes the two that you're traveling on. Let's get to some of the fun topics. Right now, we are in the process of booking shore excursions for those of you on the New Zealand cruise. And really simply, if you click on Find Trips, which is at the top of any page, or access it through the Help Center, come to the New Zealand Australia cruise and just click Book Now. You'll see that the trip is currently sold out. You guys are on it, not to worry. In the future, we also have a wait list feature in case there is a trip that you're interested in and it is sold out. You may go ahead and wait list yourself. But here it says already booked on this trip, add additional options. So you'll click that and then scroll down. Of course, our pre and posts are completely sold out. And here is a list of all of the shore excursions that we have for this particular cruise. How do we select these? We actually reached out to the membership on the chat. We got a lot of recommendations. Elsa and Heidi read through all of them, and they've been doing extensive research on all of the destinations. I looked through them, and together with all of that information, we selected 3 or 4 in each port that represent a nice sampling of things to do from adventurous to exotic. We totally invite you to book any shore excursion that you'd like with Celebrity Cruise Lines. There are hundreds of them. They're accessible on the Celebrity site. We try to make it easy here. So if you book one of our shore excursions as a group, Heidi and Elsa will be managing and coordinating those groups once on board. If you book a tour that's independent directly with Celebrity, you would use their Celebrity Shore Excursion Desk as your main resource. So Heidi and Elsa will be tasked with making sure all of these tours go out and that everybody who booked on them is secure and is meeting in the right place at the right time. Anything you book with Celebrity, you go directly with them. We did it this way because if we do not group our members together, it's an impossible feat to try to join them together once we get on the cruise. There are multiple departures for many of the tours, not all, but anything that requires, first of all, when you arrive in each port, we're 2,000 guests getting off the Solstice. So some of the tours will have 3 or 4 or 5 busloads of people. And so our intent was to kind of create a subgroup so that our members could travel together. For many of them, that's really important. Others are destination driven. This is, I cannot get off this cruise unless I see the glowworm caves and the Kauai forest. And others of you just want to be with other members of the group, and that's your focus. So we are willing to work with any direction you'd like to take. And so basically, to book our shore excursions that we've selected, not mailing you to anything, the cruise to Zane Gray's is a very popular one right now. We just added 8 more seats tonight. You would just click the little box, go down to, say if you were just selecting that one, click Continue, and then check out, just like any other trip. So that is how you would go ahead and make your shore excursion bookings. Now that's for New Zealand and Australia cruise. We have 2 new offerings for the All Aussie Tour, which are available for sale. On April 3rd, we're doing the Sydney Bridge Climb. And on the 4th, we have the Gold Dinner Cruise available for sale. So those are now ready, and we're taking reservations in the same manner. Now that I talked about the shore excursions, I thought another fun thing that everybody's looking forward to, and I'm already getting questions about it, so I'm going to let Heidi tell you a little bit about the themes. Heidi?
So the goal of the themes that Elsa and myself put together was to make it not only fun, something completely new, tied into the destination as well as the time of the year, but also that it wouldn't burden you with a lot of packing, because we already have an active adventure plan, so you're going to have various pairs of shoes and outdoor apparel, but 3 formal nights. So we wanted to make sure that the 3 theme nights would be something that wasn't hard and just fun and kick back and relax. We posted on the chat as well as the itinerary for the trip, and I'll explain the 3 of them. And once we have all gotten to know each other, get on board the ship, both Elsa and I will tell you which nights to prepare for these once we have a better idea as to when the formal nights are going to be. So the first one is Kiwi and Koala Sports Night. For those of you that have done your research, you know that both New Zealand and Australia are famous for their sports, and New Zealand above all for rugby and their famous team, the All Blacks, and the typical Haka warrior dance that they do beforehand with painted faces and really aggressive and, I would say, rather somewhat sensual movements. And we wanted to do something that we could dress up in comfortable attire, typically either something that's rugby, if you wanted to honor New Zealand, or something that's a little bit more Australian, surfer or sailor attire, and to wear that one evening, and we'll have some type of competition. We'll kind of poll and see if it would be something that would be golfing, whether it would be bocce, or something that doesn't involve necessarily outdoors if it's inclement weather. Another night we wanted to tie in the STI t-shirts that you all receive on trips. And in order to go with that, we wanted to make it easy and have you bring a hat. And so you'll see that one of the theme nights is called You Can Leave Your Hat On Night, kind of tied into the full Monty, but definitely wear a hat that would be something that tells us about your personality, something wacky and crazy, or something that you pick up in one of the ports. And I don't know if you have thought this far in advance, but April Fool's is going to be one of the days that we're on the cruise. So we wanted to do something that would be extremely wacky and that you didn't necessarily have to dress up like a Joker or anything out of the norm, but use something that you already brought, turn it inside out, wear mismatched clothes, something to just have a good fun time and get to know some of the travelers that you have not traveled with in the past and that will be lifelong friends. So those are the 3 nights, and by all means, if you have questions about them, feel free to ask either myself or Elsa on the chat, and we look forward to having fun with you and getting crazy with you.
Excellent. Thanks, Heidi. You guys are in for a great time with Heidi and Elsa. One is more fun than the other. So good job on the themes, and we hope that you all enjoy it, and appreciate the light packing concept. We really did toss around doing oh gosh, I'm at a loss for this. Sorry, but what's the one with the not the glowworms?
Well, we were thinking a lot about the Lord of the Rings and the movie.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Lord of the Rings was my idea, and they nixed it right away. So, so you're lucky you've got these guys. Well, you mentioned the chat, so I'm going to go over, segue to the chat right now. This is a great feature. We've had it in place for a really long time. Pretty simple. We're not going to be able to compete with Facebook, that's for sure, but it's an exclusive area that is reserved for members on the tour or the cruise. So you'll see that already we posted the informational webinar. There's some chatting going on from among the members about packing, about taxi rides, wine tastings. I think there's one of our members that's kind of garnered some other independent things to do, and that's great. This is the place for members to talk amongst themselves. And if you want to chat back, let's say, for example, here's one that is posted about wine tastings that Lisa started a couple of months ago. If you want to answer Lisa, just click on the subject. There's a box down here that says post reply, and then you would respond, blah, 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 and hit post reply. And your message would show up with your picture and your profile. If you wanted to go back to the topic list, just click back to topic list and enter a new one. Right now we have 4 pages of topics, and they are posted in order of current, being the most current is at the top. If you want to create your own topic, let's say you have something that you want the group to discuss, just click on Create New Topic, type in your topic here, and my best recommendation is then to click Post New Topic. After you've done that, go back in and actually post your topic or post your message. So create your topic name and then go back in and put your question in there or your comments so that others are able to answer back to you. And if you want to send a specific message, let's say here's Janine. You're like, oh, hey, Janine, I like what she's talking about here. I just want to send something to her personally. Click on her name, and now you see Janine's profile comes up, and you're able to read all kinds of things about her. Up here on the upper right-hand side where it says Feeling Friendly, you are able to send a message to Janine. So you click on the box, Bill's sending the message. It says, hi, Janine. He would type his message here, and then click Send. Janine will receive the message in her regular email inbox. Our system is double blind, and the reason that we did that is to protect our members' identities. Even though some of you put information on the website, that's your prerogative, but we actually protect your personal email information and your phone number and your address. So when you send an email to another member, be confident that it's completely private and confidential. It'll drop into her email box, and when she gets that email, right inside the body, it'll say reply. There's a reply to, and then she clicks on that, and it will open up her STI page, and she'll answer back to Bill. And that's how it goes. If you decide to share information with each other, that's up to you, but we definitely don't do that, nor do we necessarily encourage it. For people that are already booked on a tour, it's not risky necessarily, but certainly if somebody were to contact you in general on the site, I would be a little bit leery. We have limits, but people do join the site, and even though we have spam guards in place, I would just use your common sense when answering back emails to one another. So that's really the ease of using the chat. At this time, I'm going to turn over to Elsa, and she's going to talk a little bit about how to tackle a long-haul airplane ride. Elsa.
Hi, everybody. This is Elsa. I put together a list of items that are best for traveling. I'm going to focus mostly on the air portion. Most of us have very, very long flights and multiple flights, so I'm going to get right to it. In flight, we obviously recommend that you walk around the plane as much as often as possible. As far as what to wear on the airplane, a lot of layers because, as we all know, the cabin temperature changes, depends on your seating, who you're around, how crowded it is. Recommend a tank top with a loose blouse over it so you can roll up the sleeves, loose pants or leggings, jacket, blazers, and a scarf or pashmina that you can use as a blanket, and a sarong or bathing suit while you're on the cruise. Minimal jewelry, and shoes that you can slip on and off. There's feet swelling on airplanes, so you want to be able to get your shoes back on. If you are concerned about your legs on a long flight, compression socks or stockings or tights are always a good thing to think about for that. In your carry-on on the airplane for under your seat, we recommend that you bring an eye mask and earplugs. An inflatable neck pillow is great because it is lightweight and very compact. It can roll up and then you just blow it up when you need it. Comfy socks are great, and then flip-flops or slip-on shoes that you have in your bag so that you can slip them over your comfy socks when you have to use the ladies' or men's room on the airplane. You don't want to go in socks. As far as entertainment purposes, headphones or earbuds, and then iPad or Kindle or your phone downloaded with plenty of reading material, games. There's great podcasts on iTunes on all kinds of subjects, from where we're going to see to your interests in sports, etc. Music, backup batteries or chargers for all of your above electronics, adapters, and then in a separate little plane kit in your bag, it's great to have your lip balm, your eye drops, your moisturizer, Neosporin or Vaseline, because it do dry out in the airplane, for your nose, antibacterial hand gel, a little travel toothpaste, antacid, baby aspirin. And then I did put on here Tylenol PM or sleep aid. I want to highlight, do not take it for the first time on the plane. If you've never taken it before, not a good idea. And then I suggest also vitamin C, airborne emergency, just for preventing, getting colds on the plane, and any allergy medication. A small travel pack of wipes, facial wipes, baby wipes, antibacterial, toothbrush, and it's good to have snacks with you, nuts, bars, dried fruit, peanut butter crackers that are easily accessible, and then an empty water bottle that you can fill up in the airport or ask the flight attendant to fill on the plane. I have a really small one that rolls up and clips, and it's Vapure. I put it on there for people that are interested in finding something that's not as bulky as metal ones or glass ones. And then tissues, sunglasses, bathing suit, and spare undergarments and a change of clothing in case the luggage is lost or delayed. And then your passport and wallet kind of tucked inside your bag under your seat so that when you're sleeping, you don't have to worry about your safety or theft or anything like that. I also recommend that you keep all of your prescriptions in the original bottles. As far as anything further, obviously these are just a guideline. There will be, on the frequently asked questions on the website, a section for you to go to and look at the packing travel suggestions there for your trip.
Great, that's true, and we will update this with Elsa's permission. We'll add this list to our general frequently asked questions so that everybody has access to this, because this is fantastic, Elsa, and we've never been able to share this with members, so thanks for putting that together. On the subject of air travel, let's talk about air itineraries for a minute. Now that all of the tickets have been issued, we will be sending out invoices to everybody once and for all, and thank you for your patience. Not only did we have to follow the system with Qantas, but because of all the inclement weather in the United States so far in the month of January, they were just inundated with people being stranded. So they needed a little extra time to actually issue our tickets. But everybody who requested a ticket from us has been issued. And
okay, so we're going to see it on our bills soon then, huh?
Yeah, sorry guys, you're right. You're finally getting billed, Jean. And I know that many of the members were emailing us and waiting and with bated breath, but I guess there were another 50% of you that didn't care. You were like, oh, it's okay if you don't charge me yet, but those have been charged. And we, in addition to the final vacation details and meetup information document that we are going to post on the FAQ page, ready for you to download at your convenience, if you have an air ticket with us, we are going to send a separate email to you. June will get those out around the same time, along with your visas. We'll talk about that in a minute. Now, there are a lot of you that did your own tickets, and that's great. What we will do on the Final Vacation Details and Meetup Information doc, we will list the group flights for the outbound section on that actual document. So, for example, if we have 10 people from LA to Auckland on March 20th, we're going to list that. So if you're on that flight, you'll know who's on it. If you did your own ticket, of course, we don't have that information, but you'll see the others that are on the same flight that you are. So we'll be putting those outbound group flight manifests on the Final Vacation Details doc. So that way you know who's going where. And there's already been chat going on the chat. There's already conversations about that. And if you purchase your airline ticket with Qantas, with Singles Travel as part of our group, then you know that you are allowed 2 free checked bags. And that starts from your very own home city. So from domestic all the way through to Auckland. And for those of you on the All Aussie trip, you get the 2 bags checked domestically. So that it was a huge bonus and one of the features that we had as part of the group fare, in addition to the delayed billing. The other thing that you are entitled to is free seat assignments. Yeah, can you guys believe it? I mean, for many of us who have been traveling for all of our lives, can you believe that they're charging for seat assignments? Well, they are. A lot of the airlines are doing that for their international flights. But part of the group deal is that you have free seat assignments. Well, how do you get those? We're going to take care of it for you. There are probably 10 or so who have already emailed us and made their request. We know who you are. But if you haven't or you're not sure if you did, go ahead and email us at service@singlestravelintl.com, and we'll go ahead and put in the request. Now, as you know, our disclaimer will be it's a request. It's never guaranteed. We'll do the best that we can. It's in the hands of Qantas. And I would recommend that when you check in at the gate, if you have not been accommodated with your request, that you ask again. So send those off to us as soon as possible so we can get that done now that you're ticketed. And remember that email address. That's our new central email for anything that you possibly need. Once you make your reservation with Robin, we all man the service email. So that way we're able to respond to you not only more quickly, but the right person gets to you the information. Robin, as dear as she is, knows a lot about each destination, but she definitely doesn't have the scoop on all of these little details that we're talking about tonight. That's June and myself. So by using the service email, we're going to make sure that the right person gets your request and you get the answer and the correct answer as quick as possible.
Okay. Question. Do you need Qantas is with American? Do you need frequent flyer?
I'm about to get that.
Well?
And yes,
what?
And Jean, if you wouldn't mind, Jean, just hold your questions till the end because we
Sure.
have 55 people on. So I'm so
Okay.
sorry because
Right.
you're dear and I love you and I wouldn't mind answering, but I think we'll get to those at the end. So the next thing up on my list is frequent flyer. Now Qantas, and this again applies to those who did the group ticket, but it's very important for all of you who did your tickets. This is a huge vacation, earning a lot of miles. Well, Qantas is part of the One World Alliance. American Airlines is the only domestic U.S. carrier that's a part of that group. You can check it out at www.oneworld.com, see what other participating carriers are. We do have members all over the globe, so not everybody's from the U.S. Maybe one of your favorite carriers is a partner. Send us the frequent flyer number for the carrier that you have specified, and we will have Qantas loaded into your reservation. Now, here's the thing. I have a lot of experience with airlines, 25 years, Pan Am, Yugoslav Airlines. June's the next American Airlines person, and we both agree on 2 things. Number 1, when you check in for each flight, ask if your frequent flyer number is in the record. And the way you will know that it's been solidified is that it'll print out on your boarding card. Okay, now some of the carriers and other places might not be as sophisticated, but that's the ideal scenario. So number 2, we strongly recommend, without exception, it's like doing taxes, keep every single boarding card that you are issued throughout your journey. Keep it in your logbook or keep it in your wallet somewhere safe so that when you get back and you check your account, you're able to validate whether or not you got the credit. And if you didn't get the credit, you can write to the appropriate party and say, here is a copy of my boarding card, or send it registered mail, whatever their process is. But those boarding cards in many cases are the only proof that you will ever have. And it sounds a little crazy because everything's so electronic these days, but they really are not always able to track it. So those are our 2 grand pieces of advice. So number 1, send us your frequent flyer numbers, and please designate the airline so we know which one it is. And then verify with the gate agent when you check in at every single flight, and then keep your boarding cards. Now, for visas, this is important. To enter Australia, you must have a visa, no exception, U.S. and Canadian. If you're from another country, please check that with the appropriate consulate. We have the instructions on the frequently asked questions page, but for those of you who are on the All Aussie Tour, it was already included in your package. You need not apply for an Australia visa. We'll send it to you by a separate email. So again, at February 24th mark, the final vacation details will be posted on the FAQ for you to download, and then June will send a separate email so everybody with their visa attachment, and if, of course, you did air with us, you'll get your electronic ticket attachment. If you didn't travel or you're not on the All Aussie Tour, then the best way for you to get a visa is actually listed under the FAQs here. And this is something that is a new feature. You're able to rank our FAQs. As you see right here, did you find this answer helpful? We actually got some negative feedback, so we updated it. And I think the member that brought that to our attention, the information was not current, and so we were able to update it. So anybody who's not on All Aussie, who's getting off the ship on April 3rd, must have a visa. So I hope that's clear for everybody. Now, we have pre- and post-cruise packages. I won't go into great detail about that. They're completely sold out, and of course, all of the details about where you're going to meet up with a group in Auckland, where you will meet up with a group in Sydney if for a chance you're arriving on April 3rd and you're not even doing the cruise, that will be in your respective final vacation details and meetup information. If you have traveled with us before, you know, for example, when we go on a cruise from the Caribbean, we always outline the day-to-day for Miami, let's say, for example. We will do the same for Auckland and the same for Sydney. For those who haven't traveled with us, it might seem that you have a lot of questions, but that document that we deliver at that 14-day mark, and at this case it's going to be almost 30 days in advance, is chock-a-block full with everything you need to know to get there. We know that there's an anxiety level, and you're going so far that you want to know, who am I going to see when I get there, and when am I going to see Heidi and Elsa? Okay, how do I find them, and how do I find the group? It's all going to be in that document. So if you don't download the final vacation details, you won't have that information. It's all there. So I'm going to talk about transfers in a minute, but before I do, I'm going to go ahead and transfer the screen.
Did we lose Tammy?
You might have.
Well,
So I passed
Andy,
over
you
to June.
Oh.
You lost me. I apologize for that. Thanks for hanging in there. I passed the screen over to June, and while she's logging in, She's actually going to show us how to check in at Celebrity Cruises. I'm going to take a minute to talk about transfers. June, are you there?
I'm here, and just it's loading at this moment.
Okay. All right. So while you're loading, let's talk about transfers. That's another biggie with the questions. So we have the Auckland package, and then we have the cruise, and then we have 3 nights in Sydney, and then we have the All Aussie tour, and we have people going on to an 18-day cruise from Sydney to Honolulu, which we're not necessarily on this call, but 5 or 6 of our members are actually doing all 3, so they are definitely on this call. So rather than talk about what's included, it might be easier just to tell you what's not included. Here's what's not included. When you arrive into Auckland, so let's say you're doing the cruise, whether you're coming into the Auckland pre-cruise on the 20th or you're arriving on the 22nd and going right on the ship directly, you are responsible for getting to either the hotel or the cruise ship. If you want to get to the hotel, there are taxis, there's a super shuttle, and guess what, guys? I've already been on the chat this week, and there are several chat messages going back and forth. There's a group already kind of organizing their own transfer, so definitely avail yourselves of that. So March 20th, March 22nd, you're on your own to the hotel, you're on your own to the cruise ship. If you want to transfer from the cruise line, let June know and she'll organize it for you. We do need your flight schedule. When we dock in Sydney at the end of the cruise on April 3rd, if you are not staying in Sydney and you're going home directly or you're doing something independently, you're responsible for your own transportation. Everybody, every member who's actually going to the Grace Hotel on our package has a transfer included. So we're going to take you there, not to worry. At the end of those 3 days, some of our members are going to head home on April 6th. You're responsible that day to get yourself to the airport. Anybody who's continuing on the All Aussie, the rest of your transfers are absolutely and completely included all the way to the Cairns Airport on April 11th at the end of your tour. So really what's not included is Auckland arrivals, Sydney departures, and that's it. Now, one special case for our members who are traveling on the solstice, those lucky members for 18 days from Sydney to Honolulu. Well, when you leave Cairns, you'll fly from Cairns to Sydney. When you arrive in Sydney, we arrange a private van to pick the 8 of you up and take you to the ship. So you do not have to worry about that transfer either. So I hope that makes it clear for everybody. Again, it will be in the final vacation details at length about who we purchased a transfer for, but that's the gist of it. So when you get that document and you think your name should be on one of the manifests and it's not, you just let us know. It's not a problem. Everything's fixable. So June, how are you doing?
Should be up in everybody seeing the Celebrity Cruise Line homepage?
No.
Heidi,
You can't
I'm
see
not.
that? Okay.
No, not seeing it.
Oh, okay. Well, then let me just see here. There we go.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. Thanks,
Okay.
June. Gosh, guys,
Okay.
we only practiced 65 times today.
Yeah.
So June's going to show us how to check in and get our boarding cards printed for the cruise. Thanks, June.
Okay, so the main objective here is just to, a quick overview for some that have cruised many times with us in the past. This is going to, be very familiar to you for online check-in. It's very simple, but it will also decrease a lot of anxiety, and that's what our total goal is to just get everybody prepared so there's no, last-minute rushing in questions and just uncertainty in general. So on the main cruise line page at celebritycruises.com, there's going to be a section across the tabs. It's a drop-down menu under the Already Booked. The second option is online check-in. So you can go ahead and get yourself to this page, but what you're going to need is the best resource is going to be your last invoice from us. And many of you, like Cami said, will be sending out the updated invoices. So that's going to be readily available to you is your reservation number. You'll need to know the name of the ship, which is a Celebrity Solstice, the sail date. You're going to need your passport, and then you're going to have to just advise what credit card that you plan on using. So from this page for the online check-in, just scroll down a bit and you'll see the reservation information. And for this one, we've selected for Heidi. So you're going to enter in your reservation number, your last name, again the ship, which is the Celebrity Solstice. Sail date for the first portion is March 22nd. For those continuing on Trans-Pacific crossing, you will need to do the check-in for that sailing as well. You'll click on the continue, and then it brings it up to the easy steps. A couple of things, and here's the important check-in information. For one, it takes about maybe 15 minutes of your time, which is well worth it, because it's going to expedite the check-in process at the pier. This will shut down at 3 days prior. You have up until 3 days prior. After that, 2 days, the day before the cruise, you're not going to be able to do your online check-in. So if by chance you start and you need to stop, don't worry, you can save it and always go back to that. So for step one, we're going to add personal and travel info. And here's where it comes up, and this is kind of important for those that are traveling, in a single room, you're not going to have this option. For those that are sharing, for example, like with Heidi and Elsa, you're only going to check in for yourself. So uncheck all guests and then recheck the appropriate reservation for yourself. And it's going to take you just to the first section, which is personal details. I'm not going to go into all of Heidi's personal info, but this is going to get you on the path that you need to be. So if for any chance that or any reason that you need, there's a help contact information number, the 877-200-2897. That's what you're going to need. If for any reason that it's not recognizing, it's not letting you go any farther past the screen, you'll contact Celebrity Cruises directly for the online check-in. So it's very easy. From personal details, it goes to the immigration. You're going to enter in your passport. It'll ask if you've cruised before. You'll go on. It'll ask what that you're planning on your folio, your expense account. You'll add just the type of credit card that you plan on using. And then at the end, it's going to give you the opportunity to print your e-docs, your boarding passes, your luggage tags. And then after the online check-in, you can go on to make any spa appointments, dinner reservations, and you can really maximize your experience for your upcoming trip. So if you have any questions, especially with your reservation ID, like I said, it'll be listed on your last invoice, but if for any reason that you can't find that, just email me at the service@singlestravelintl.com, and I'll be able to send that right back to you.
Okay. Great, June. Something that comes up sometimes that I thought might be worth mentioning is that we might match two people. We usually try to match them based on some, at least some similar interests and that maybe geographically they're from the same area. But every once in a while we have one member who's super zealous. They want to check in early. They're very organized. And then the roommate is one of those last-minute guys. And just keep in mind, first of all, that the online check-in is optional. It is not mandatory, as much as the cruise lines would let us to believe that it's mandatory after 9/11. It serves them a lot greater than it serves you. You still will have to check in when you get to the port and present your documentation, your credit card. You just actually slip by the security desk a minute quicker. So it's not mandatory, but it is a nice way for you to get prepared and see what other options are available, like the shore excursions, spa treatments, and optional dinners, like June said. If for some reason your roommate hasn't checked in yet and you're not able to print your boarding cards, because that's what will happen, go ahead and shoot them a message on the chat. Hi, this is Sue, and I'm your roommate for the cruise. I'd like to print my boarding card. I noticed that you haven't checked in. When do you think you'll have a chance to do that? A lot of our members are super duper busy, so, you know, keep a respectful attitude toward that situation. And if we get to, let's say, 2 weeks before departure and your roommate hasn't checked in or responded to you, which does happen sometimes as well, I wouldn't take it personally, but just contact us and let us know, hey, my roommate's not checked in. I'd really like to print my boarding card. Then we'll step in and see what we can do about it. And everything's possible. Like I said earlier, we can do it all. We can help you with anything that you need. I am going to just open up for Q&A, but I know that Heidi and Elsa want to give you the first points of meeting. So in addition to it being in the document, we want you guys to know firsthand when you're going to be able to meet up with them, and then we'll open for Q&A, and there are plenty of questions here, so we're ready to go. Over to you, ladies.
So this is Heidi, and both Elsa and I will be at all three of the location points for those of you that are on the call, whether you're in New Zealand to Australia or the All Aussie Tour. On the 20th of March, we'll have a hospitality desk at the Sky City Hotel, and in your final travel documents you'll find at least the hours that we'll be there. And then also for those of you that are going to be meeting us on the solstice, we will also have directions, hours of operation. We're both super excited to meet you. And for me, I'm a New Zealand and Australian newbie, but I've been doing research mad for the last 2 months, and I'm already halfway there. So.
Great. Thanks, Heidi. This is Elsa. I just wanted to mention to you that the next group that's coming in for the All Aussie Tour, that the first point of meeting and contact will be downtown on April 3rd at the Grace Hotel. We very much are looking forward to that. That's right in the heart of Sydney. It's one of our most prominent historical landmarks, and we'll be happy to meet the group that's doing the All Aussie Tour there on April 3rd. And just to piggyback off Heidi, we're really excited. We've been chatting back and forth and making lists of things we want to find out about. We've been watching videos and doing our research, and we really want this to be your bucket list trip and your trip of a lifetime, and make sure that we find out what the things are that you want to see and do so that we can make it happen. So we can't wait to see you.
Thanks, guys. Well, on that subject, I do have a question, and I'm not sure we have an answer today, but we will definitely get it for you, Catherine. Catherine asks, are there ports that are very near beautiful beaches or other sites so that we can spend a day without going on a tour? And I'm just opening this up to the team. Anybody?
Okay. Actually, there's going to be several ports that it's just whether I know in Hobart, for example, Hobart, you can actually just get right off the ship and walk right into. There's a small little village town, and it's really quite lovely. Very seaside, setting, and you can just walk around and enjoy the day. And several of the ports, Dunedin, for example, there may be a small bus ride in, but very quick. They typically have a drop-off point, but very easy to maneuver. So there's actually several places. And then, of course, in Sydney, you actually come in at Circular Quay, which is the working harbor. So when you step off, it's, so much just right there basically at the door of the ship. So lots to do.
And Catherine, in Sydney, Bondi Beach is the beach. So start making your plans, go to the chat, and see what kind of buddies you have to take you over to Bondi, which is the place to go in Sydney. They're known for the beaches. New Zealand has a lot more rocky rugged coastline. But I'm sure that once you get on board, too, there will be access to more information about beaches in particular. Most of the ports that we know – oh, sorry, go ahead, Hyde.
Oh, I was just talking about Bondi, that although you may not necessarily want to swim or tan there, there's many other options. There's bars, restaurants with wonderful view, and there's also a great walking path along that area. So it's a place to be seen, but you don't have to necessarily tan and surf at Bondi. It's a whole experience.
Yeah, a really nice option, and it's just a quick ferry ride, is Manly Beach. And that's, like I said, just a quick ferry ride. They drop you off, and you can enjoy it. It's nice little shops, restaurants, and you can go right out onto the beach, into the water. You know, just to set, it's a nice area there as well.
Right. To our knowledge, the only port that's a little bit different than when we first posted the trip is Christchurch. Because of the last disaster there, they moved the ships to Akaroa. So for visiting in Christchurch, as you may have noticed, there's a coach that will take you over. But Akaroa itself has a little town, and that's where we have that Fox 2 sailing vessel, which sounds really great. You'll be able to see the wildlife, and that we added 10 more seats today, so that had sold out. But most of the ports will be near a town. It's not a beach, near a town, so there are things to do if you don't want to buy the tour. And I know that Heidi and Elsa are super researching, so by the time you get on board, they'll be able to help you. And every day, Singles Travel International has a pretty specific format once you're on board. And one of the things that is a hallmark for us is we have the independent meetup. So every morning we see up all the tours, and then around 9:30 or 10, we have the independent meetup, and that's designed for all the members who want to go off and explore, but they're not on a tour. Now, it could be that you show up one day and you're the only independent person, but at least we have a point of meeting and a time so that you have the best chance to get together with other members of the group to go and explore that particular port. So let's see. We have another question here that says it's about the visas. They said they have the ETA for Sydney. Do I need a visa? I'm going to let June toss this one back to you guys.
Okay, well, the ETA is basically that's your electronic visa. It's exactly as it implies. It's just an electronic number, and when you go through the process, it's actually good once you purchase your visa. It's good for multiple entries within the year. So if you purchase it now, you don't have to worry about any expiration before your trip. It's just a number that's attached to your passport. When you arrive at your initial departure, your gateway city from your hometown, they are going to see that your final destination is Sydney, or that you're going into Australia. They will check for an electronic ticket. An electronic visa, the ETA. So that's a really very, quite a necessity, and it has to be done, prior to your arrival. Also, immigration board, actually, and they'll be boarding probably somewhere in New Zealand, and to be checking for these as well. So if you already have your ETA and you have that number, you can always do a quick print and just take it with you.
Great. Thanks, June. That cleared that up. Another question came from Sharon. Sharon, who I'm expecting to be the captain of the Solstice by the end of 2014. So she's not only on the New Zealand cruise, but she's on the Trans-Pacific and then doing Alaska in August. But Sharon, you're my idol. And in the meantime, she asks, have we arranged for the amount of the baggage for the domestic flights? And as we stated a little bit earlier, it's already included, not to worry. Your visas are lined up. But the other question that we haven't covered is, what is the recommended amount for taking New Zealand and Aussie dollars? We probably all have a different opinion about this, and based on our individual lifestyles, that amount could change. But Heidi, maybe you could answer this question about bringing the currency, the local currency, and how to handle that. Do you mind covering this question?
No problem. In both locations, you're going to have the ability to take money out of ATMs fairly easily. I guess for me, I always tell people anywhere from $50 to $100 a day, and that depends on really your lifestyle. Some may want to do wine tasting. Some people maybe spend quite a bit on souvenirs or for gifts. This is a YOLO, you only live once trip. So I always err on having more rather than less, but you have to take into account that many things on the ship will be taken care of by credit cards. But those things in port, they're going to be both in cash as well as credit cards. Do you have anything that you would suggest otherwise or in addition, Elsa?
I would mention is just giving your credit card company, the heads up before you leave. I mean, I always find I give them a call, let them know what countries I'm going to be in. They make a notation in the file so that I'm not dealing with that overseas. They give you a number to call in case there's a problem or emergency. If you want the car with the chip, the international, chips, they can send you that ahead of time. And like you said, the ATM, in my opinion, is the best exchange rate typically. So I take a little bit out at the airport when I land, and then I do the rest as I go along. And I take out, a decent amount at a time because a lot of credit cards will charge you a fee on top of the exchange rate. So, it depends on the credit card company you have. I know Capital One is pretty good about not charging those exchange rates. But that's my recommendation. I think what you said is sufficient.
Yeah, good job. I would concur with all of that. I typically change my original money right at the airport. You pay a little bit more there, but I'll change $100 or so to get me where I'm going, and then I do the ATM as I go along. So I agree with you. And I did find out last week from one of our members that you can go to the Capital One website and actually kind of menu pick the type of card you want, and there is one selection for no international fees. So if you don't have one of those yet, that might be something you want to look into for this trip as a backup. So use your ATM. And again, for ATM, it must have the international kind of Cirrus or some of the other major network names on the machine when you get overseas. Most banks in other countries have the local bank ATM, and then they've got the international one. So that's something that Heidi and Elsa will help you with on site too. There's another question here from Catherine about, does formal night mean long gowns for women? And the answer to that is it is a cruise. You're in New Zealand versus the Caribbean, but the recommended attire for formal would be the same. Now, it's never mandatory. Our crowd does like to dress up. So with 3 formal nights, you may not be in long beaded gowns, but I think we'll see some of the gents in tuxedos. They'll just rotate their ties out, or a jacket and a tie. And for ladies, maybe just a cocktail dress is fine. I realize that we've got a long flight, and, like I said, for those of you that did the group area, you've got 2 free suitcases. So we've got one for shoes and one for dresses. But, again, lifestyle, if you don't have 3 fancy dresses, that's fine, because of the entire population, 30% of the guests typically, and this is just a kind of a general statistic from our experience, 30% will be super formal, and the rest will be semi-formal. So if you've got that little black dress in the closet, bring it out, swap out the jewelry. You should be fine. Let's see what other questions we have. They're ringing in here. Somebody asked for the service email. It's service@singlestravelintl.com. It is also accessible from the help page And we list it in everything that we send you now, from your invoice. It's on the FAQ page. It's all over the place. So usually anything that we push out from a group message, it comes from service. So you should be able to find that very easily. And we just recommend that everybody make that one of your contacts in your email address book so you've got it. Got it.
Tammy, are you there?
Yeah. For those that have transfers included in their, how do you know what time? Does it arrive in a packet? What time we're going to be picked up?
Yeah, that's going to be spelled out in the itinerary and that final vacation details that we send out. So it'll have a breakdown because we'll have an itinerary, general itinerary of, and a lot of that will, if there's any variations, of course, it'll be made well aware by either Heidi or Elsa on site in advance. Of course, that's when you get on site, it's, there's maybe some operational updates that might occur. But yeah, and otherwise you're going to just refer to this document that we're going to send out to you.
And actually, I'm sorry to say this, but we're not sending it out to you. It will be posted on the site. And actually, June, you're right there. You're on the Help Center. If you were to, actually, maybe I'll take it back from you because then I'm in the Help Center. Let me just take the screen back here. Let's see if that works. And on the frequently asked questions page, the number one question will always be converted at the 14-day mark so that you're able to download that document. And here it is where it says, I'm signed up for the cruise. What else do I need to do? And it'll be there so that you're able to download it.
And when we do the online check-in, we'll be able to print our luggage tags, or do they come in the package also?
You'll be able to print those out.
Okay.
And that way you'll take them with you, and it's always handy to have some tape, and probably Elsa and Heidi will have that on, if you're going in arriving early, for those in the hotel, we'll probably have some either stapler or tape that you can apply those right before you get on the ship, so there's no worries with them at the airport.
Okay. And can we print those like immediately when we do the check-in, or is there a time frame that we have to wait for?
No. Once you complete your online check-in, it'll give you the option, like Tammy said earlier, if you're just in a room by yourself, a cabin by yourself, then you'll be able to just go through the process. If by chance your roommate hasn't completed the online check-in, there might be, you might have to wait just a little bit, but again, we'll, do our best. So, either you contact them on the member chat or we'll contact them just to remind them. But that way you can print them out ahead of time.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Hello.
We have another question from, is somebody on the call asking a question?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Sure.
Okay, this is Janine. Hello.
Hi, Janine.
Hi, June and Tammy. Anyway, I just got in about 10 minutes till 9. Did I miss a whole lot, or is there going to be something? I'm sorry, I had a client that dinner, whatever, and I got in late. If I missed a lot, or I got in about...
But let's say this. There's 50 people on the call right now listening, and we're doing questions and answers. We are recording this, and we're going to send it to everybody tomorrow. So you'll have a chance to listen at what you missed.
Thank you so much. That's all I had to ask.
Totally. We got to make money. If you don't make money, you can't take vacations. Right?
You guys.
So I have a question back up on the Q&A board here. Back to the money, I see my buddy Maria made a suggestion, and she said be sure to tell everybody to bring small bills for tips to the guides and for some shopping in port. So thanks for that, Maria. That's definitely a good recommendation for everybody. Oh yeah, and in case you go to a strip club, whatever. On the Vegas trip we do that, sorry. So one of the other questions was as far as well, my computer was disconnected, so bear with me, guys. I'm going to try to log back in here. Are there any callers who have questions? Please speak up.
Do they know how to unmute their phones if they muted?
Yes, *6.
I have a question. I posted it online though, and the question is, can we change our money on the ship? When I was in Europe, the ship was just, I asked for $100, and they gave it to me they gave it to me in U.S. dollars. But would they be able to give it to me in local currency and charge it to my credit card?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Is this Lisa?
Yes.
Hi, Lisa. Because I'm looking at the questions and answers, and before I got logged out, that was one of my next ones. So thanks for asking. You'll be able to exchange into any currency, and they also have an ATM on board that will be distributing U.S. dollars.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
I have a question.
Sure. Go ahead.
I was looking at the side trips, and I had it written. I had it printed out that when we're in, is it Dunedin, New Zealand, that the ship's there from 7 in the morning till 5 at night on March 28th. And
okay,
then
you talking about the Queensland overnight?
I'm just talking about the itinerary for the ship. And one of the side trips, not the overnight one, but one of the side trips says it's from 8 in the morning till 5:30 at night, and it takes you on a city tour and a gorge train. Now, I guess what I was wondering is the ship looks like it leaves at 5, and this side trip says it goes from 8 until 5:30. That's just a mistake.
Good question. That's a good, and thanks for catching that. You can always send your corrections to us too, guys, at service@Singles Travel. I'm kind of the trip writer, and I'm human, so sometimes we make a mistake. But I may have keyed it in wrong. I see it right here, the Dunedin DD20. I took this from their site, and so perhaps the itinerary has been revised. I do see right now that we're supposed to leave at 5 o'clock. We'll check on that, but rest assured on this, since it is a celebrity shore excursion, that time will be adjusted to meet the
okay. So it wouldn't be a problem. Yeah. Okay.
No, it won't be a problem, but I will still check it out and watch for the update on the site for that one. So I'll
all right. Thank you.
We'll fix that. Sure.
And then another question is on the overnight in Queenstown. Do you know how many people from the group will be going?
Hi, Lisa.
Oh, hi.
So we actually do right now. And guys, I just added more space. Here's where we're at right now. We have 2 singles and 3 double occupancies completely sold. If you ask for a share, we matched you. But there is 1 female looking for a share right now, so that's up there for sale. If that's what you wanted to do, we actually updated the site now, so it will take a booking from either a double or a share. And then we have some single occupancies still available. So go ahead and book those. If you want a share, just book the single and then let us know that you want the share. We'll try to get more shares. But right now we have the 5 rooms left that they've allotted in the single occupancy capacity.
So, and since that excursion is a little special and overnight, are we going to have our own group, or is that going to be just blended in with everybody?
We'll still be part of the larger population. Yeah, for sure. But there might be on that one. I'm not sure that there'll be multiple departures. So, but in order for us to make sure that you're all together, just please book it on our site because they are blocking the space for us. So if you go to Celebrity and book it separately, Heidi and Elsa cannot, and please don't even ask them because they're not going to be able to merge you with the group. We've already been told by the cruise line. And we've been doing this for a really long time. Before shore trips even existed, when I was doing the trips, I would try to coordinate the shore excursions on board for everybody, which meant I would go to the director for the excursion, tell them that I had a group, and I would stand outside the room and have our people meet so they could be together. And it's just very, very complicated. And that was in the old days when everybody was nice and friendly and accommodating. And the world has changed. Everything is about, their revenue over there. So the only way that we can guarantee that everybody's together with the group is if you book the excursion with us. But that's not important to everybody. So I'm not trying to, I don't want anybody to feel manipulated in any way by that. It's just the way that they roll at the cruise line. So, but that certainly may be the case that there's only one departure lease. That would be my gut. I don't know the exact answer, but that would be my gut.
Is there some type of identification that however many people that are on the singles cruise will have? So if we see someone at the breakfast table, we know they're part of the group?
We give gold pins to everybody the first night.
Okay.
And we ask that our members wear the pins throughout the cruise, and that way that would give you a way to identify other members. And I don't want to keep everybody for too long, but that's come out of years of surveys. I learned my lesson. We've tried beads and necklaces and all kinds of different things, and some of the surveys came back from members saying, I really don't want to be like walking into the room screaming, I'm single. I'm with a more classy, we have a more classy presentation. So does everybody wear the pin? No, but I guess this is my plea right now for everybody to wear their pin so that you're able to identify. Now, if we have our own events, then you know that it's exclusive for the group. We definitely do not invite non-group members. But if you're just out and about and you see somebody with the lapel pin, you would know that they're with the group, and in a very kind of subdued way.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. I have a question from my buddy Doug. Hello, Doug. If we're booked for the cruise and then post-stay in Sydney, how do we book the bridge climb? Just go to the All-Aussie trip. And I'm thinking you might have tried that before, and since you're not booked on it and it's sold out, it might not have taken your reservation. Are you audible right now? All right, Doug, just go to the All-Aussie trip and go ahead and make your booking. If it doesn't work for you, I just realized I also kind of do the programming, so I think maybe you might have been shut out because it's sold out. If you can't, let us know, okay? Just email us at service. Some of the other questions, yes, if you book the trip through Celebrity, Sharon asked, will they assure you get back to the ship? Absolutely. Yeah, with Celebrity, they guarantee it. Even Shore Trips does. And the reason we're not doing Shore Trips is they don't service this market, but even they guarantee to get you back to the ship or pay for you to get back the next day. So never a worry there. So let's see. You asked us to pick our shore trip choices just before Christmas, so we didn't have enough time to send in the choices. Seems like others picked most expensive trips. Can we get together with others after a couple of days and make our choices? Totally. Yes, we're a community. All is one and one is all. So when you get together on board that first day, after a couple of days, if you have some ideas, just share it with the others. That's what it's all about. And let's see what other, lots of questions. I'm up to 20 already, so thanks, guys. I'm glad that we're all here together and able to do this. Do we need to buy from Ray? Hi, Ray. Do we need to buy an outlet adapter to charge phones, cameras, etc.? Does anybody on the team want to cover this?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yep.
There is an adapter needed. It's a voltage 230, 230V plug I think it is. So it's a voltage converter, a plug adapter to use our phones. What I do is I went to Radio Shack and I bought a universal adapter and converter kit. If that's helpful.
Right. So the universal adapters accommodate most of the major countries, right, Elsa?
Yeah, it's adapter and converter kit in one.
Right. But on the ship, you won't need it.
Right.
Right.
You're right.
On the ship, June's wanting to say that on the ship, because it's an American company, they have 110. But when you're in New Zealand and Australia, you're going to need, not only do you need an adapter because their plugs are different, you need an electrical converter. So there's two devices. So when you're shopping for that, and like Elsa might have bought the universal, does that have the converter built in, Elsa?
Yeah, there is an option for an adapter converter that's all in one.
Right. Okay, that's what you need. So there's
for those. Yeah, you can. Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
No, go ahead.
You can say you can order them off Amazon with your guidebook if you want. I mean, I've done that before for trips, or you can pick them up at Radio Shack, whatever's convenient for you.
Right.
Do you bring your own hair dryers?
Unless you, listen, they're different everywhere you go. I basically dry my hair, so they suffice. But if you use your dryer for styling, then I would recommend bringing your own dryer because you never know. We know what the issue is sometimes, the strength of the blow. I did just say that.
Yeah.
That sometimes might be too weak in places. I mean, Jean, you've traveled the world with me. How was it in China? Forget about it, right? So if you really need your blow dryer for styling, it might be best for you to bring your own. But for the basic, everyday hair care, what is available in the hotel rooms and on the cruise ship will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this question came up, and I see Robin. Hey, Robin. She wants everybody to know that so when you go to check in for Celebrity, June mentioned the reservation number, and the one that you get from us in that automatically generated email when you first sign up is not it. It's like 100 characters long, right? That's not the right number. To log in to the Celebrity site, our reservation, on the invoice that you get from us, it's called the cruise confirmation. So when you look at those invoices from us, just go down to the cruise section, and where it has the name of the cruise ship and the dates, it'll say cruise confirmation, and it's usually about 6 characters, 6 to 7 characters in this case. That is your confirmation number for Celebrity. That was a question by Georgia. So I hope that makes it clear for you. Let's see. I think we are covered here. I'm just running through the questions one more time.
So should we be signing up for things to do in Sydney, just like we're signing up for side trips on the cruise?
Yes, there are only 2. They are the Sydney Bridge climb,
right?
And then we have the Gold Dinner Cruise, on April 4th. So Sydney Bridge climb on April 3rd, and then the dinner cruise on April 4th. And those are accessible. Just go to the All Aussie Adventure and click Book Now, and it'll take you to those.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Kim, they're also under the price and options, aren't they? Or can you just look at them and not book them?
Yes. You can do it under price and options or just click Book Now. Both locations will do it.
Okay.
If you have an issue, email us.
Okay.
Right. There's a question here. I'm not sure. We might have to get back to you, Georgia. It says that my booked excursions don't show up on the Celebrity site. We got the complete brochure from the manager of shore excursions, and she booked space for us on all of the shore excursions, so I would imagine that they're all operating. if you don't find it on the website, when we finalize all of those, which, by the way, actually this is an important date, by March 1st, we have to have our group shore excursions booked, so that's a Saturday. So by February 28th, please make your selections because we'll be closing out our tours, and that will be that. And unfortunately, we'd love to take them on board, and if you want to join the group tours, you may ask Heidi and Elsa if you haven't already booked it independently, because that's what they're telling us is complicated. But if you've never booked and you want to add something, they will certainly try. The girls will try for you. But please try to just get it done by February, actually by maybe the 27th, so that we can get the information to the cruise line by the 3rd, which is when they want it. So keep that date in mind.
Hello?
Well, are there any other questions?
Kim, do you
No, this is Jean. I just have a comment. The Akarua, the substitute port for Christchurch, is a very cool town. I've been there.
Oh, thanks.
It had lots of little shops, and I think they do whale watching. There are things I was there with my daughters, and we had a great time, but, it was kind of fun.
Okay, that's great. Catherine, make a note then. Jean, meet Catherine. Jean. Catherine was asking about those miscellaneous things to do independently. Any other questions out there tonight?
Kim, did you address the one from Shelley on how she books the dinner cruise? I see one on my chat over here. It says, how do we book the dinner cruise if we're not booked for the cruise? If we are only booked for the cruise, and not the all Aussie trip.
She sort of connected it with the answer, Doug.
Yeah, I think, Shell, you fall into that category. I do think because we have the new feature that's the sellout now where you have the wait list, you're locked out. So why don't you, if you truly intend, both Shelley and Doug, if you're on, let's put it this way, if you're on the New Zealand cruise and not on all Aussie, but you're doing the 3 nights and you want to either climb on the bridge or take the cruise, would you email us at service and let us know that you want to do it, and then we'll add, I think what we'll do is probably add it to the New Zealand. Maybe we'll just add it to the New Zealand booking. I think that's what we'll do. Okay, that's what I'll do. Tonight I'm going to add it to the New Zealand cruise, and then that way you guys can book it online. That makes it easier. Thanks, Elsa. I did miss that.
That's okay.
Well, if we don't have any more questions, I will say it's a wrap, and we really appreciate your attention tonight. This is probably the most well-attended webinar that we've ever had, and what a great group. I mean, I am just wishing all the best for everybody, and we're here for you. Again, I know because it's on the web and it seems distant, but we're 3 people over here who want to make sure that this is the best vacation ever. And I know we always say that, but that's always our goal. So have a great evening. Thanks for joining. And if you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, watch for the final vacation details on February 24th on the FAQ page for your individual trips. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.